StriveTogether is a national organization that works with communities across the country to build place-based partnerships that focus to transform systems to improve conditions for Black, Latinx, Indigenous, Asian, and low-income children and families. PTAC came around because of the recognition that, first off, the most lagging indicators that StriveTogether's communities focuses on is post-secondary enrollment and completion. One of the key challenges in the transition space is making sure that students have the support that they need as they shift from their high school careers into their post-secondary careers. An example of that is the work that Aligned Impact Muscatine County did in developing some mentoring strategies for the students in their community so that they could more effectively transition to college.
Community colleges traditionally have enrolled a higher proportion of minority students, first-generation students, students eligible for financial aid. One of our benchmarks is the number of minorities that we are enrolling, the same or very similar to the number of minorities in our community that we serve.
When AIM first formed, one of our first work groups where we brought people together was around increasing post-secondary enrollment. So we already had a team going, and when StriveTogether approached us with an opportunity to work more closely with them, to get some coaching and guidance, and to learn from other communities across the country, it was kind of a no-brainer for us to join.
As the person who works in the school building, I'm sort of the direct line to the students, so I'm able to give AIM sort of our needs and give the assessments on what I think our families and our students could benefit from.
The framework from IHI was really helpful for us to think through conversations and student needs, because part of the framework really talked about thinking about the student and what the whole student needs. So it really helped frame our conversations and think about what sort of barriers students may have and what we could do to reduce those.
At the beginning, we were trying to have an initiative for the summer because we realized that there was a really big gap, basically called summer melt, of the students that wanted to enroll into college and didn't follow up with, all of their plans because they were first generation, they didn't have a counselor near them, they had financial problems, stuff like that. But we realized that they had this whole 3 months with no mentorship at all, and we were like, okay, how can we help this population? How can we offer them these services?
It was very, very helpful to know that he was helping me, because before I knew about the program, I was kind of stressed. It's helped me relieve stress and also financially with how my parents were going to pay for college.
It's hard to do it on your own, and it's hard to not know where you're going and how to get there. So if just sharing my experiences helps others, that's all that really matters to me.
E3 Alliance in Austin, Texas took a similar approach to Aligned Impact Muscatine County and how they used mentoring to support students. COVID hit right about 3 months after we launched the PTAC work. We were working closely with IHI at the time and had just started to engage with StriveTogether network members, understanding how COVID was impacting the work, stabilizing partnerships and their relationships. How do we talk with students? How do partnerships and their partners engage with students to really understand what the supports they need to transition, particularly in the time of COVID?
The rates of students enrolling in post-secondary have gone down across the state. In particular, across the nation, they have gone down among our Black, Hispanic, and males from low-income backgrounds. So the biggest benefit for us of participating in the post-secondary transition action community was really to have that opportunity to learn and grow with other partnerships across the nation, all facing the same thing at the same time.
So we realized in March of 2020 that our students that were graduating in their senior year were not going to have the same support systems and structures in place that were going to prepare them for the transition into post-secondary. So we developed a virtual transition mentoring program in partnership with College Forward and Austin Community College. And so PTAC and the tools allowed us to dig deep into who was our target audience when we were talking about virtual mentorship. How are we going to reach those students? And what were some of the barriers or root causes that potentially could prevent these students from transitioning into post-secondary, especially during a pandemic?
The pandemic has caused us to do a full stop, evaluate how we do things down to a very granular level, and then build up from there. The more options students have, the better we can deliver the education that they seek.
What's most exciting about the work that the PTAC communities accomplished over this past year is that they were able to identify practices and strategies that StriveTogether network members can then apply in their own work, and we can ultimately work to impact all 11.5 million students across the United States who are connected to StriveTogether communities.